Something you'll do quite a lot is group parts together. So in this case, I've already gone ahead and grouped the two wheels together. Then I'm going to insert from my computer one of the forks that I created. I've got 2 or 3 versions of that kicking around as I've been practicing. So you'll notice that the fork can still be moved around. It's not part of the group. So I'm going to move that by rotating it first of all into the correct angle, which of course is 90 degrees from where it is. Still free to move. What I'm going to do is just approximately place it and then more accurately place it a little later on. So let's start by just manipulating that kind of into position. First thing we need to do is rotate it to the correct angle. And looking at this, I think probably about 75 degrees will be correct. Yep, looks good. Let's see where that's at. Need to move that over. And you want to just center it, of course, over the wheel. That looks pretty good there. Let's see what it looks like when we go back to the other view. Well, it's actually nowhere in sight, so we need to drag that up. Now I want to be a little more careful because it's in the correct position over the wheel. So I go to move, and use my arrows, drag that up into position, and zoom in using my mouse wheel, and drag it back down. It needs to come over a little bit as well. And once it's in position there, drag it, in this case, from right to left. Could go over maybe one more, but it's pretty good. I think we'll find that looks all right. Now I should add that I didn't mention when I was making the wheels, I did add some holes through the center of those wheels, so you'll have to do that if you haven't already. I'm pressing the function 6 key, by the way, when you see it zooming in and out. That's very useful. Once you get it approximately in position, you can use that F6 key. I've grouped together those 3 parts now. Next part I want to create is the handlebar and the handlebar grips. And that's at a little bit of an angle, so when I create my polyline, I'm selecting that face, and that makes that the plane that the sketch will be created on. Rotate that around so it looks a little better. And one of the advantages here with that projected edge is that when I create my polyline, I can do what I call acquire an edge. So I just kind of select my plane, hover over the edge, make sure I got the right one. You see that long dotted line? That's indicating that it's exactly in line with that edge, which is good. I know it's 20 millimeters, or approximately 20, so it'll sit on top of that surface. And again, I want to make sure it's the right width, so I can acquire that corner. Just hover over it, carefully drag it down, and you see that long dotted line. And create the rectangle. I could have tried a rectangle, but it's a little easier, I think, using those 4 lines. So I can now go ahead and extrude that. There are actually 3 parts to this. Make sure we get them. Actually, I'm looking at it just before we do that. It looks as if the top's a little bit longer, so I can show you how to quickly and easily modify your sketch. That looks a little bit better. Alright, let's get back to extruding then. Select 1, 2, 3, and then extrude it. In this case, I think 15 millimeters will be good. So with the handlebar created, I can turn off the sketch. So I'll just go in and hide that sketch. And apply the material. That's going to be the same material I've been applying all the way through, that red birch wood material. I want to put the handlebar grips exactly on that end face. So something we've done before, that is project a surface. So typically when you're building something off another part, you'll use that project tool. And let's just zoom in so we can see that. There was no center obviously on that rectangle. I'm going to place that circle on that sketch plane and move it around. That's pretty good. And then move that out. Approximate radius somewhere between 18 and 20, 17, 18, 20. Now if you don't think it's centered, if you really made a mistake, it's easy enough to move around. So there's the outside surface of the handlebar. I don't need the inside because it slips over the top of that. So I'm going to extrude it. I don't know what distance I want, so I'm just going to grab that arrow, drag it back until it's in good location. So let's somewhere around, 70, a little bit higher. Let's try 75. 74 is good. Of course, because it's joining onto the wooden handlebar, it takes on the same material. We'll fix that later. One more circle. I'm going to put a little piece on the end of the handlebar grip to stop my hand sliding off. Make it a bit bigger. Finish that off. And this time I do need all of those profiles in there. Extrude it. I think about 10 will be good. Hide the sketch. Those are pretty sharp edges. Obviously, as part of our design, we don't want sharp edges on there. So we'll use a tool we've used before, and that's the fillet. There's going to be 4 edges I'm going to select. And not a very big radius. I'm just breaking that sharp edge, so a couple of millimeters is fine. Enter 2. Let me show you how you would change the color. I'm not going to do all the surfaces. I think you'll know by now how to do that. Select the whole thing, kind of come off, go back on to get the face. Hold the control key down, select all the surfaces. I just quickly selected a couple to show you how to do it. And I've been using this black paint because it's a nice shiny surface. So I'll let you add the black paint to all of those surfaces. And of course you'd add a second grip to the other side.